In the previous video, I've made a heroic effort to finally finish what I had to say about protagonists, at least for now, and now I'm going to move on to what I think is equally as important as protagonists and antagonists for my story, and that is side characters and characters in general, personality traits, generic character settings, races, men and women, and even inhuman characters. As I've mentioned, both antagonists and protagonists aren't over just yet, and obviously, some of these talks that I have about side characters will have things in common with protagonists, antagonists, and even world setting. And one of those things that I've already mentioned during my protagonists talk, and I will talk about it during the world settings talk, are long living races or just beings in general. There is definitely more to it. It's completely unthinkable to me that I, as a human with barely any time spent alive, would have been able to comprehend something that lived hundreds times longer. Maybe through experience, these beings could create some sort of a second skin, this outside layer they would wear when dealing with beings so much younger. But that begs another question, and that is, how would their memories work? Thousands of years of memories and events experienced. What would that do to a mind? A 6 years old human attempting to understand and comprehend a 90 years old is already far fetched, and the older person has to adjust for the child. And now, when I imagine that the difference would be 50 times bigger, that things get, well, incomprehensible. And that takes me back to that second skin. The moment it comes off, something outside of the realm of known should appear, and I have yet to see that happen in pretty much any media. I just don't think that an air of mysticism and pseudo mystery, plus talking in weird rhymes and puzzling phrases, really does it for me. It's clear that I wasn't the only one who thought about this problem, because attempts have been made, at least I've came into contact with them. I just feel that for me to actually believe these beings have been around for so much longer than the other characters within the story, I, as the author, would have to take things much further, and I am not entirely convinced that I have the imagination to pull that off. I'll have more things to say about this topic in particular, because it is definitely something that I find very attractive and very interesting when trying to incorporate into a story. I'm just not sure if I have what it takes to do so, because there is the other aspect of this, and that's the fact that these beings won't be just long living. They will be of an entirely different race with completely different history, different physiology, different meanings to certain gestures, and so much more. And creating something truly original and not just something that this human tribe in some Amazonian forest does for the past 2000 years. There are already so many differences in behavior just between humans. So portraying an entirely different race is something of a challenge that I don't know if I'm ready for, but I really want to at least attempt it. It is definitely easier to make them different through their physical appearance than incorporating everything else that needs to also be completely different. So on one hand, I am looking forward to it because I have some ideas about a story where such creature, a being like that, appears in a pretty prominent role. On the other hand, I am skeptical if my ideas are enough. Well, nevertheless, I can't delve into that because that's a whole nother rabbit hole that I'll jump into at some point, but for now I have the Rapid Arrows adventures that I need to go through. So last time they Fatty to join them on an expedition, and Whistler swore that he'll figure out what Fatty has to do with the Rapid Arrows and what is this all about, which is how the next story starts with Whistler asking Fatty's mother if he is going outside. She affirms that he's planning to meet with the club members, and Whistler runs out and decides to stalk Fatty as he is going towards the meeting place. After almost 2 hours, Fatty actually meets with the Rapid Arrows, and Whistler is shocked that he actually got to see the legends of the town and all young boys in there. Speedy welcomes the other boy in a good humored manner, using his nickname in an affectionate way. And that's the beginning of the quest. They are still being followed by Whistler, and he notices that he's being followed as well by the Brotherhood of the Cat's Paw. Also, Fatty finally finds out why are they carrying ropes, small hammers, and other tools. As it turns out, in these mountains are rare fossils, and the Rapid Arrows manage to discover a large one, but they have to use the ropes to reach it, and then they have to extract it from the rock. It's in this chasm of sorts, and they are using a nearby tree to secure the rope and then upsail down. First one is Yarka, with Redcap wishing him a bon voyage and asking him to say hi to that mastodon of theirs or whatever that fossil is. Now Indra's going down and he's asking Yarka to lay down underneath the rope in case he accidentally slips so that he can fall into something soft. Then when everyone is down, including Fatty, Mirek shows him where the animal is, guessing that it's a trilobite. Speedy is eager with his hammer, spouting nonsense about how he's going to bash its head off. Then the Brotherhood arrives and they notice the rope tied around the tree and an oversight on the side of the Rapid Arrows that they haven't left a guard on top. So Longpole orders Bristles to grab the rope and pull it up. A great distress happens in the chasm, and Fatty's first thoughts are that now when they are trapped, someone will have to bring them food, otherwise they are going to starve to death. Now Longpole is all gloating and throwing his glee down on the boys, noticing Fatty and figuring out, quote unquote, that he must have been a spy for the Rapid Arrows when they captured him in their base. Well, now he has the high ground and demands polite answers about what exactly is it down there that they had to climb down no matter what. Well, Mirek answers honestly that it's a fantastic creature, a trilobite. Bohosh exclaims if it's alive, and then Mirek actually invites the Brotherhood to come down and take a look at it. Yindra is wondering what the plan is, but Yarka shushes him down, noting that Mirek is definitely thinking about something. So well, Longpole actually climbs down, orders the other two from the Brotherhood to guard the rope, and when he's almost all the way down, Mirek orders for everyone to jump Longpole the moment he touches ground. A beating ensues, and Redcap even tells him that he is going to meet the exact same fate as them. At least they'll have company in their misery. Longpole screams for help from his loyal brotherhood. Then he whines a bit. What even is it that they want? That he was minding his own business, barely even taking notice of them, and yet they had to immediately start bullying the poor guy. Well, Mirek answers how the tides have turned. Now Longpole, and now, with the rope in hands and Longpole as their prisoner, things aren't looking nearly as bleak for them as they were before. Well, here is where I'm going to stop for today. I have so much to say about side characters that it's actually a bit disconcerting. And then I'm going to continue with the adventures of the Rapid Arrows, their friends and enemies.